Suspense. Suspense. Suspense.
Presented by Roma Wines, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
Salute.
Your health, senor.
Roma toasts the world. The wine for your table is Roma, made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.
This is the Man in Black, here for the Roma Wine Company of Fresno, California, to introduce this weekly half hour of Suspense. Christmas. In this series, Roma brings you tales calculated to intrigue you, to stir your nerves, to offer you a precarious situation and then withhold the solution until the last possible moment.
Redcoats Return presents with Roma wine the Savinelli 320, rusticated, and the model of Roma.
Roma toasts the world.
And in addition, Redcoats Return and Roma presents Savinelli Aroma. Suspense. Well, it was a great radio play in the 1940s. A link below, radio plays, and I've got quite a few of Suspense. They were very good, and the actors of that day, film stars, so were involved in these radio plays. It was wonderful to hear Jimmy Stewart or Cary Grant or Gregory Peck. You know, they're all quite young in the 40s, and yet that picture, the last one, was Lucille Ball, and before she got famous in television, she did radio plays, comedy, you know, but a little bit before she was a kind of film star, but mostly in B sort of movies, but some were very good as well. Beautiful woman, and very savvy, you know. She was a good businesswoman. She started the Desilu, the RKK. She bought that studio and renamed it Desilu, and Star Trek was the original series filmed there. Amazing, you know. But this video is a tribute to Roma wine, because you know, you all know I'm nostalgic and love old things, like, you know, a lot of people in YTBC, and those radio plays often involved the sponsor, you know, and I did a video about Petri wine, and I think it's only fair to tribute Roma wine. Roma wine, hard to find these days, you know. And I've got a glass here. I'll take a sip to refresh my palate. Oh, it's very good. And here's my Roma Savinelli. I love the Roma style with the black stem and the emblem and a brass around it on the I think the Roma pipes are actually a little cheaper. They're not maybe popular, but I love the Roma style of Savinelli. I don't have a Savinelli lighter. There are such Savinelli lighters like this one, but they're quite expensive, you know, 150 or 170. So today we have this Bologna lighter. You've seen it before. $10, you know, you can't beat that. And for a tamper, I've got this Romanesque column here. Those lighters, Savinelli, they have a inbuilt tamper as well. One day I'll get it, but at the moment I'm skint. And just some words about Roma wine. I've mentioned they sponsored the Suspence radio plays and also Mystery Playhouse, which a lot of stars were in, you know, the early 40s to even the 1950s, but then television came along. Roma wine was started by the Cellar brothers. There's a link below about the history in the bucket. And they started in California, and in those days, you know, today California, Napa and Sonoma is famous and absolutely as good as anyone in the wine world, you know, French or Italian, you know, fantastic wines. And a lot of states now, almost all the states apart from Alaska made also wine, you know. It's not just California today, but these guys started, you know, and there was the beginning in 1930. They started in Lodi in California, and then 1933 they moved to Fresno to build a bigger operation, and they were very successful. They actually sold to Schenley Industries, New York, 1942, because a lot of investment for expansion was needed, and they just cashed out, and the Cellar brothers, and it was a good thing because they expanded massively. And of course USA invented marketing and selling. Let's face it, that you did it. And the radio plays, you know, all the advertising was perfect. I mean, you look at those ads, and some of the end of this video, you'll see some ads, and it was it was just brilliant and so fantastic. And so Roma wine was claimed to be the biggest one in 1940s. I know Petri was also very big, big competition. So they dominated the wine world, and Roma had 34 different wines, you know, champagnes or white wines and all kinds of reds, you know, and port wine and sherry as well. So it's incredible what they achieved. So towards the 1970s, of course, a lot of other places, a lot of other companies were producing wine, and Shenley sold the business to the Guild wineries for 12 million. In 1970 it was a lot. It was maybe, 60 million today. But that was beginning of the decline of the brand, Roma wine. I still think today they could bring it back, but the people who remember that are few today. It's time to move on to the review of Savinelli Aroma. This one, I bought it about 3 years ago, and 3 years ago the tobacco reviews were actually not impressive. Very few had tried it, and it was maybe 2.5 stars or 2, something like that. It's made by Kohlhaaser and Kopp, because Savinelli doesn't itself have tobacco blends, but they contract with the other big guys, and aromatics in Europe, Kohlhaaser and Kopp in Germany. It says made in Germany here, 97%, and the tin is the rest. It looks like this when you open the tin. Better light than here than cellar. And the tin note is fantastic. It's like 4 stars. It's beautiful and full of almond and vanilla and touch of chocolate and berries and whatever, But for me, the tin art, the tin nose is least important. It's nice greeting card, but it doesn't say what it's going to be, the flavors and smoke, or even the room note. So, but it's a good beginning, let's say, the tin nose. So today there are 16 reviews, so it's other people have tried it in the last few years, and its tobacco reviews score is 3.25, which is a very solid, very good rating. So what is in it? It's Black Cavendish, Oriental, Turkish and Virginia. And the question is, how much of each are there? And I tried to sort the leaves, and this is approximately, of course, just with my eyes, the colour on and the type of cut, but it's a ribbon cut generally, and it looks like this. Let's look at the leaf. Black Cavendish is forward 50% approximately. I think the Oriental is slightly more than the Virginia, assuming the lighter leaves are Oriental. Also, my nose said that is the Oriental. It gives you expectations for the flavours, and I'm glad to see a generous portion of Black Cavendish for an aromatic. So I was pleased to see actually a decent amount of Cavendish, Black Cavendish, because sometimes they say, oh, it's Black Cavendish and aromatics, but sometimes it's a condiment, it's just a sprinkle, and I think it's often too little. But this one started very well, and the Oriental, I could smell a little bit of that kind of incense, you know, or tang, but it's only approximately the Virginia and Oriental are about the same, you know, maybe a little bit more Oriental in this tobacco. Now, Kohlhaaser and Kopp often overdo the topping, you know, with descriptions, you know, like poetry and 50 flavors. You know, you think, well, all those flavors to go, what they actually taste, you know. Don't get me wrong, Kohlhaaser Kopp is professional and very good, and you know, a lot of their tobaccos I like, not all of them, and sometimes I think they overdo the complex topping, and this one has tobacco reviews, it says alcohol, almond, bourbon, coffee, sherry, vanilla, whiskey. It's like the after dinner dessert trolley felt in the tobacco, and also the after drinks fell in the tobacco as well. You know, I mean, what are they doing? You know, but okay, we know tobacco reviews is sometimes not quite accurate. I didn't see in the back of this tin the topping description. It was whited out. Anyway, don't be put off, because the good stuff is coming. With a 320 you can't go wrong, you know. It's handles the heat, even though it's a short, stubby kind of looking pipe, but this briar here does a great job. Also is thick here, and everything smokes very good in 320. I mean, it's fantastic. This is a tobacco that's dominated by the toppings, so the strength is of the tobacco in terms of nicotine is mild to medium. Some people said, you know, you could, you know, you feel the nicotine, it's not nothing, but for me, you know, it's mild to medium, let's say. And the strength, that perspective of tobacco flavors are quite mild, but they come through here and there. I would say that the flavor in total with the topping is medium to strong. My wife says the room note is very good. It's one of the best. That's compliments indeed from my wife. The tin note, you notice the almond, and it's like a liqueur. So you know the alcohol is there, and vanilla. To me, it was like a creme brulee, something like that, with a mix of honey, caramel and vanilla, and when you smoke it, it wanders from vanilla to honey or caramel, and almond is always there, and for me, that's a wonderful, wonderful flavour. The moisture in this tin after 3 years, the vacuum was there and was perfect. You hardly need to dry it at all. You know, the top is slightly drier when you open. I screw it very tight for a week in the tin, and then it goes in a jar. And now I would say I smoke it direct without drying. The tobacco looks very nice, not goopy, not greasy like some aromatics, you know. I still feel it's like a creme brulee. It's very smooth because the Cavendish is 50% sweet. If you like a sweet aromatic, it's good. Not a sweet bomb, not that far, but a nice medium sweet. There's a kind of tang as you go down the bowl, probably for the Virginia or maybe the Oriental, almost a tang of sourness, but just a kiss, you know, not intensive. It actually fits with the sweet and sour, you know. It's 90% sweet and a little kiss of sour. The smoke is very cool and dry. No problems with moisture, and the heat is actually modest. I know the 320 protects you with this briar, but this one is a very cool burn. So tongue bite is not an issue here. Even if you puff hard, I think it's hard to get tongue bite and this aromatic, and that's a plus for an aromatic, you know. So I've only tried 2 or 3 Savinellis. They're all made somewhere else, but this is the best one. It's maybe not the very best Kohlhaaser and Kopp aromatic, because they do so many, and the Christmas ones are not last year, but sometimes they would be quite brilliant. It's one of the better Kohlhaaser and Kopp contract blends, I think, and I give it let's say 3.8 stars. Not quite 4, you know, that's totally wow or, you know, legendary, and I buy new 3 tins or 5 tins. It's so good. It's not that good, but it's definitely one when the tin is you know, finished, I will think maybe I'll get another one. It's the higher, very good, not quite excellent, but I enjoyed it very much because I like honey and caramel and almond, you know, so, and a decent amount of Cavendish, and I like the Oriental component as well. My tribute to Roma is Aroma. And I'll let Roma wine end of this video with our fantastic marketing and radio of the 1940s. And cheers to you, my friends.
Since the beginnings of history, people have enjoyed wine. Ages ago, our ancestors found that wine made any food taste better. Wine is a simple pleasure that anyone can enjoy. That is why Roma has devoted all its wine-making skill to producing wines of fine quality at a price that means you can enjoy them often, just a few cents a glass. Don't feel that you need fine crystal or a special occasion to serve Roma wines. Next time you have a quick supper, serve Roma wine in plain tumblers with your spaghetti or cold meats. And notice how much more enjoyment and zest it adds to the meal. Serve Roma wine often, cool or chilled. You'll quickly discover why Roma, R-O-M-A, Roma wines are America's largest selling wines. Yes, Roma wines are true to type. Roma wines are faithful in flavor. Roma wines are sound of character. Roma wines are reasonable in cost. Made in California for enjoyment throughout the world.